we're now almost 3 months into our long-term review with the Skoda Kodiaq, and in this video I'm going to cut straight to the point and answer some of the most frequently asked questions about life with this car so far. Now, number one is fuel economy, and the simplest and easiest way to answer this is that this is not an expensive car to run. So this is the 2-litre 150 brake horsepower 2-wheel drive diesel automatic, which is what the majority of Kodiaqs sold here are, because they just offer a great mix of power and performance without being too heavy on fuel. Now, on paper, the actual fuel economy figures, or on screen I should say, whether it's on your trip computer or on this Skoda Connect app, which is great for data nerds like me because it can tell you your average fuel economy on any given journey or any given day, can sometimes make it look a little bit terrible, but that doesn't seem to translate to actual trips to the fuel station, which in fairness have been few and far between. So while the claim figure is in around 6.4 litres per 100 kilometres, I probably see closer to 7 on the day-to-day, but being in lockdown doesn't help because obviously this isn't being driven the way a diesel should be driven at the moment. And the few long journeys that we have got to take in it, it has performed quite well. So it's about €60 to fill the tank. That managed to take us from Dublin to South Kerry, down in and around the kingdom for a few days, then one final top up and home with plenty to spare. So considering the load that was on board, if you saw my last video, that was pretty good going. So while I wouldn't go as far as to say that it runs on fumes, it has exceeded my expectations in relation to its size and capability, and to be honest, I think you'd be hard pressed to get better from any other ICE vehicle of its size on the market. So question 2, being the big family wagon that it is, relates to car seats and how many can fit and where. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you with what I've got. So in here today I've got fitted a Joy 360, which is one of those spinny seats that would suit a child of up to about 18 kilograms or about 3.5 years old. And then this one here is the Maxi Cozy Cabrio Fix, which is popular with younger babies of possibly up to a year. So this might be your typical situation for that very fun and very busy stage of 2 under 3. So as you can see, there is plenty of room to fit them both. It is quite a generous back row in terms of space. And then in terms of width, there is still room for an adult to sit in the middle here and keep an eye on things. And yeah, it's a bit of a squeeze, but it's about as comfortable as any adult in a middle seat is going to be. Now, a third older child would probably fit in there quite comfortably, providing they don't need a booster seat, in which case they'll have to go into the backpack, because I tried and couldn't quite squeeze one in between these two anyway. Now, one other important thing to note about this car is that there are only 2 sets of ISOFIX anchors back here. So if you're a parent of 3 kids still in ISOFIX that you need in one row, or a parent of multiples, despite that being another very commonly asked question, it's actually something that very few modern cars can do. So you're looking at the likes of the Peugeot 5008, which does have 3 ISOFIX anchors. Again, you'll still have to check width-wise, and failing that, you're probably going to have to look at something maybe a little bit less cool, like the Volkswagen Chiron or Ford Galaxy. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Then the third and final question for today is, what does it drive like? Now, I know I've touched on this before, but I have driven the Kodiaq in several different guises, including the petrol, the 4x4 and the RS, and this is the one that makes the most sense. As fun as the RS might be, and as capable as that 4-wheel drive system is if you need it, for a car that you feel yourself on the day-to-day, then this is the one. It's plenty powerful, and that DSG just gives it a lovely, effortless feel. It's a very comfortable car on the road. The suspension is just right in that it's never bouncy but still beautifully cushioned. It's quite agile for the size. It's very refined for a diesel. It's nice and quiet in here, and it is a lovely, lovely motorway cruiser, especially with that adaptive cruise control, which again just makes things so effortless and makes it a really, really lovely car to spend a long journey in. And the only thing that I could say that I don't really love is the very slight turbo lag that you get, which is quite common among Volkswagen Group DSGs, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just a very, very enjoyable car to drive. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this update. Next video I'm going to be covering spec and tech, and specifically this Sportline model and what you get for your money. And interestingly enough, maybe what I might have done differently on the configurator myself. So if you're interested in that, please do hit the subscribe button and tune in next week for more updates very soon.